Hi, this is Kylie Herbert, and my instructional strategy project is about anchor activities. So, what is an anchor activity? It is meaningful work done individually and silently, and this definition came from our textbook, The Differentiated Classroom, out of Chapter 9, which we just read. So I chose this strategy because I hadn't used it in my room and it actually sounded really helpful. So it's important that it's individual and silent so that the environment in your classroom is calm and quiet and you are able to pull out kids and work with them. Some examples of anchor activities are journal writing, free reading, math seat work, or sketchbook assignments. Now, these need to be something that are useful or important for students to do regularly throughout the year for at least a portion of the year anyway. And once you have your kids really strong on this procedure, you are able to break off individuals or groups for other tasks so that you can really be differentiating what they're doing without being interrupted by kids who don't know what they should be doing at the moment. So, Carol Tomlinson suggests this strategy when you're just beginning the process of differentiation. It's a way to start small, have all your kids doing this one anchor activity, and then you're able to meet with individuals or groups. So you would do this anytime you need to meet with an individual or group for some differentiated learning. Another time she suggested was at the beginning or end of the day, which would help you get your day started and ended smoothly. Here are the steps for implementation of your anchor activity. First, obviously, you have to teach the students how to successfully complete the anchor activity. It's so important that they practice doing it silently and independently. It really reminds me of Daily 5 and how you're practicing read to self over and over again, building stamina. So the kids are reading silently and independently while you're meeting with other small groups for guided reading. So really, the read to self in Daily 5 is an anchor activity on its own. You're getting to differentiate by meeting with small reading groups. So you have to practice doing it over and over. And then once they get better at their anchor activity silently and independently, you can start pulling individuals or groups to work on different tasks. And then, like any procedure, you'll have to continue to practice it as the years go on so that they're truly practicing it silently and independently, or else it won't work for you when you're trying to do a small group. So I teach kindergarten, and what I would like to do for my anchor activity would be to have kids practice their sight words. So I have some examples of sight word practice up here, like they could maybe rainbow write their sight words. They could use Play-Doh to write their words. I could have a stash of these little practice sheets for them to do, or my kids right now are crazy about marker boards, so they could take a stack of flashcards and practice writing their sight words on a marker board. So I would have them do this whenever they got done with an assignment early. I guess I didn't mention that earlier. Another time for this would be when a student completes work early, they'll have something meaningful to do when they're done. And as you can see, I don't just have one anchor activity here, I have 4. So I would maybe give my kids a choice board with these 4 choices, and then they could grab their sight word flashcards and get to work on practicing their sight words. So that's what it might look like in my classroom. I'm actually excited to get started on it. So then the last question is, what's being differentiated? Is it the process, the product, the content, or the environment? And I'm just going to talk about my sight word idea from the slide before. And in my classroom, the strategy would differentiate the process, the product, and the environment. Um, the process would be different for kids because they could practice their sight words in their preferred way. So they're not all going at it in the same process. The product would be different um, because the proof of their practice would be different. It might be a Play-Doh, it might be one of those practice sheets, or maybe they would show me their rainbow writing once they were done. And then the environment would also be differentiated because kids could move to their favorite spots around the room to work on their sight words. The content would probably be the same. Right now, we're all working on the same sight words, but I guess some of my high kids could really be working on different sight words or content. So, really, everything here would be differentiated with this strategy. Well, thank you for listening. That is what I know about anchor activities. Bye!